Hey, what's up, you guys? How are you? How is it going? Great morning. Great morning. Great morning. I am Keita J. I'm an entertainer. I'm a custom designer, a voiceover artist. And I am me. And I am goddamn me. And I want you to be you. Okay? I probably won't see everybody's comment, but I'm here. So my question of the day is it okay to express your feelings on social media? And I didn't put a question mark there, but I did put a question mark, but I'm asking this. Is it okay? Now, this is me. Some people are in their feelings about how you express yourself on social media. Now, for me, I feel like I think social media can be therapy for some people. It just depends on how you put your information out there. Like, if it's something that's bothering you and you're having a discussion about what's bothering you, I don't think that it's a problem. I think because you're getting input from other people, it depends on what your feelings are. Hey, Greg, how are you? It depends on what your feelings are. Now, say that you may have had some run-ins with maybe family. Hey, Kenny. You may have had run-ins with family. You may have had some issues with some things growing up. And we tend to discuss those things online. Whether it be a live stream, when you get popular and you go to radio stations, you hear people talk about their upbringing a lot, right? You hear motivational speakers speak about their upbringing. It's a part of your story. It's a part of your story. Things that you're feeling, things that go on in your life, it's your story. It's now become your story because you're involved in it. So honestly, when it's a part of your story and you've attached yourself to that, I don't think that there's an issue. But other people seem to think that there's an issue when we discuss those things. I don't know if it's because people are what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if people are actually embarrassed about what could be said. You know what I mean? I think it could be some embarrassment there. But to me, I feel like if anybody has anything going on with them in life, people have always talked about that. People have always included others in their upbringing. You have so many people out here that talk about that. That is your story. Again, that's your story. So how can you stop somebody from talking about their story? How? How do you do that? How do you get a person not to talk? And that's the thing. People have shunned their kids for talking about certain things that have gone on in the house that they feel is not right for them. Nobody's a perfect parent. Nobody's perfect in this world because there's no such thing as perfect. That word needs to be taken out of the dictionary. There's no such thing as perfect. But it seems that people are so embarrassed about the things that have gone on in life. Like, don't talk about me. Don't say things about me. Don't do this, don't do that. If you're including me in something, then that means that, of course, you're a part of the story. If you're talking about the person just to talk about them. Like, I just saw the young lady that was on, I forgot the name of the show with LL Cool J. I just saw her. And somebody posted a video of her years ago, because she's been going through some mental issues or whatever. And then her mom passed away and it got worse. because her mom, I guess, was caring for her and things like that. And then after her mom passed, she only had like a godfather or something like that. So some guy just posted a video of her saying that she wanted crack or what have you. And, you know, it bothered me to see that, you know, people are always willing to put, hey, thick and can handle. You said if they're thick and can handle bullies, but she's going through she has mental issues, right? So my thing is this: if you know that somebody has mental, and a lot of us don't have empathy for that. We don't have empathy for somebody that has mental issues. We don't have, you know, if somebody's going through anxiety, a lot of us don't have empathy or sympathy for those people. So I don't know why. I don't know why. Hey, Anthony, how are you? I don't know why it is that we don't tend to have sympathy or empathy for people that are going through things. Okay, we tend to don't tell the story about when you were going through things. Don't tell the story. You said, oh, you don't understand it. We don't want, you know, some of us don't want those stories to be told, but we are willing to talk about other people's stuff. We are willing to sit back and get our popcorn and enjoy other people's stuff. Okay. I don't know why I'm outside, so I don't know why there's connection problems, Anthony. But we are willing to get popcorn and enjoy other people's problems, right? Is that what we do? Is that what we do in life? We enjoy talking about other people. We enjoy showing the bad side of other people's lives. We enjoy telling everybody's business. But when it comes to ours, you said it's pictures and voice problems? Anybody else having any picture and voice issues? Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Can you guys understand me? Is it breaking up? I don't know. If it is, I'm outside, so I don't know. Well, I'm in the car, but I'm still outside. So, oh, you're good? Okay. So I don't understand why we are always good at talking about other people's issues. We're always good at looking to see what's going wrong with other people's lives. We're good at knowing about somebody's bankruptcy and knowing that, you know, people can't eat and can't take care of their families. You know, we're okay. A lot of us are okay with knowing that. But when we get down to the root of the issue, how are you feeling? How are people feeling? Do we ever find out? Do we ever find out? How are people feeling? How is your life? How are you doing? How, you know, what's going on with you? Do we ever find those things out? Like, you know, I just think that we all have our own story. We all in this life, everybody, I don't care who you are. There has been some traumatic issues that we all have encountered in this US of A, okay, on this earth. We have all encountered some worse than others, okay? Some worse than others. You know, some not so great. But I will say some of us have been strong enough to come through. I was talking to this lady, she's a therapist, and she was saying the stronger people have the most issues. Now, I disagree. I laughed at it because I said that's not, because you have to define strong. You know, everybody's strength is different. Everybody's strength is different. I might be strong, but I might not be able to handle what Joe over there was able to handle or what Sandy was able to handle. You know, my strength is different, you know, so I refuse to say words like that. You know, I refuse to speak the same language that I hear other people speak, because I have found out who I truly am. I have realized, and now I can speak on who I truly am. And who you truly are comes from your environment. it comes from your upbringing. It comes from things that you've encountered in life. And all of that manifests into a story. It's about who are you now? Like who have you become? Because every day that you go to sleep, you become something different. You're not always the same. There's a chemical imbalance in all of us. And it shocks us at any given time. So I'm just here to say, if you have a story, speak on your story. That's the therapy for life. Speaking on things that bother you. And regardless if you have to speak out loud about your encounter, your upbringing, what has bothered you throughout your life, what has made you a great person. I mean, it's not always about the negative stuff, but even bringing the positive. Like they say, when you go on a job interview, what are you to do? They say you are to give negative with positive, right? You can give a negative situation, but you can also you can also bring a positive behind it to kind of give that ebb and flow with what you've experienced. And that's it. Like there's no perfect way of being. There's no perfect way of talking. Some people have the gift of gab. They can talk their way through stuff, but they still have shit inside of them. Okay? So no matter how somebody speak to you, people still have shit. We got to shit every day. So we have shit inside of us waiting to come out. Excuse my language. But I refuse to allow somebody to tell me how I should be, how I should empty my feelings into the world, how I should always keep quiet and I should talk about certain things, it's only allowed to talk about this or that because of how it makes other people feel. I refuse to do that. I refuse to not discuss my feelings and what has happened to me or my upbringing or what has made me a better person. I refuse not to discuss that because that all makes me. That makes me who I am. And the creator made me. Okay? Just like the creator made you guys, whatever your belief is, I can't say what it is. I can't say who you are, your religion, whatever. We all can pick all this stuff apart. We can pick everything apart. But how about gluing the pieces back together and let's have a discussion and be able to talk about, how it came to be. Nobody really knows how this world came to be. None of us. Unless you were here and you may have been here in another life. You may have been here in another form. You may have been here. I don't know. But I'm just saying, look, listen to me. If anything is ever bothering anybody, whether you talk to the known or the unknown, it's not, to me, it's not a problem. You should be able to talk to who you want to talk to, who you feel most comfortable talking to about your situation. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of the people that are the known folk that the known people are the ones that always have something negative to say. The unknown is not going to look at the situation like that. So you may have a better input of how you can handle things better. And it may hit you better. It may help you. It may calm you. It may give you something else to look at, but when you talk to the known person about certain things that are going on with you, it's really hard for them they want to dissect everything. They want to make it act like it's their story. They want to compare. Oh, well, it wasn't like that because when I was this way and you was that way. And, so when you start talking to people that already kind of know your story, we want to compare stories. So it's hard for us to even try to figure out the lining of it, like where the thin line is. Where do we start? How do I make it better? How do I create a better person, as far as myself? Let's stop comparing. First of all, if I'm going to talk to you, I don't want to compare my story with your story. I want to give my input and I want to be able to feel the way that I feel because this is my feeling. This is who I am. This is what makes you who you are. your feelings, your emotions, okay? Other things that come within you and inner and outer. So never allow people to tell you how you should feel. You know, we should be better with our kids. Some of us aren't good at helping our kids express themselves. You know, we want to tell them to be quiet and slap them for everything, you know, and it's not a good thing. You know, sometimes we have to sit back and try to figure out how can we help them better express themselves? How can we help them to be a better person? But if we're not trying to be a better person, damn, you can't help nobody to be a better person. You can't even help yourself. So how can you help somebody to be a better person? How? If you can't do it for you. Hey, Steve, how are you? If you can't even do it for yourself, how can you help anybody to be a better person? How? That's what I want to know. And I bet nobody really has the answer for that. You can't help, Steve. You can't help a person if you're not trying to better yourself. You know, and I look at these situations like, you know, these issues with, you know, parents and mothers and daughters and mothers and sons. Like most mothers and grandmothers will baby their grandsons and their sons, right? But you haven't taken care of the leader of that child. You know what I'm saying? Like you're ready to give everything to your grandchild, or, you know, but you haven't given that to your child. We ass backwards. Or you haven't tried to give that to your child. You know, we gotta learn how to give that love to our own kids before we can give something, pass something down to our grand. I don't like the fact how people say, well, at least they doing something. Yeah, well, at least they are. But are you helping your own children? Are you? Or are you passing it down because, you know, to your grandkids for whatever reason? Do you despise your own child, which your grandchild comes from that child? You know, with the kids, we have to be better with our kids. We have to love our kids more. Let's love on our kids more. They're not going to agree with everything. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Some people talk your kids out of trying to love you like the way that they should. You got relatives that will try to talk your kids out of loving the mother or whatever the way, because they always got their 2 cents in it, trying to be the one that the person talks to, you know. And it's sad to say, but I've seen this. You know, you want to be the one that the kid comes to talk to, but you're also being that one that's in the middle. And are you trying to correct the issues? Or are you listening to the child? Because I find that a lot of people listen to the kids and they don't understand the parent. You listen to the kid, but you don't understand the parent. So when the kids tell you stuff, it's like, oh, hey, how are you? What's happening? Peeking. So I find that people will find out what the kid is talking about, believe the child, and then the parent is left being the non-believer. The parent is the one now that's in a place because kids go run to family members and we talk to our family members about our household business, right? We talk to our family members about stuff. You know, kids are okay with that. But it's like once kids do that, then you're involving family in certain conversations that's going on within your household. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But sometimes, like when you come to the parent and you talk to the parent has to be ready to express his or her feelings on that situation. And it almost feels like you could be in a court. Like you in court now because you're being questioned. And then it's like, oh, wow. You know, my kid has really been coming to you to talk to you about it's a bad thing. Sometimes it is. You know, when I was younger, I used to talk to my grandmother. I used to call my grandmother, and I would talk to my grandmother about stuff that I couldn't fix. I thought I could fix it. It depends. It does depend on the family member, because again, like I said, the mother or the father that's in the midst of it, once that information gets relinquished, then it's like people start having in their mind, they start drawing conclusions of the parent, not really understanding what the parent is going through or not knowing the whole story. And it's okay if somebody come to me and talk to me about what my child has told them, but don't come at me like, don't come at the parent like it's their word against yours. Exactly. But then what happens if their child comes to you and tell you how they feel about their parent? See, I think a lot of times people don't look at it both ways. They look at it one way. I think a lot of times family interferes a lot, and you trying to raise your children and, you know, not realizing how much shit they've done to you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes family gets involved into too much of our parenting and not realizing the shit that they have done growing up. You know, it's almost like your story doesn't exist over here, but then the kid's friend too. Your story doesn't exist over here, but what's going on in the current life does, and your present does exist. So we're going to talk about that, but what was in the past is off limits. So people tend to not want to talk about your story in the past. Like, you're supposed to get over it. You're supposed to be done and over with, you know, whatever has gone on in your life. Anything that has gone on in your life is over with. It's over with. As you get older, it shouldn't bother you anymore. It should just be swept under the rug. No matter if it was molestation, no matter if it was whatever. Because, you know, families are good at hiding molestation, you know, with children. Don't talk about nothing that happened in this house. Remember, back in the day, that was big in the family. Uncle Joe was doing something to whoever in the house, and the parents wanted to sweep that under the rug. You know what I'm saying? You just couldn't talk about those things. But then they don't realize as you get older, it's still here. It's in your subconscious mind. It's not going anywhere. It's stuck in your subconscious mind. So whatever treatment you have been through is always going to be in your subconscious mind. It's just a matter of how do we choose to deal with it? Are we allowing it to like get to surface to our conscious mind? No. Some of us do. Because it's like you're trying to fight it. It's almost like a demon that you're trying to fight in your life, and it's hard to get rid of it. So it's a lot of things as you get older that will rise above, and you'll start to see images of those things. Even when you're sleeping, you're getting images in your head of certain things that have happened to you as a child. It's bringing you back to that lifetime. And that's why I say negative charges and positive charges, we get them all the time. That is why when you are asleep, you see a lot of things. It takes you to your afterlife. I mean, not your afterlife. It takes you back to what life was. A lot of times when you're asleep, and I can tell you, you wake up and something is on your head about your past life. We should talk and heal. Yes, but listen, Greg, can you talk to somebody can you talk to people really? Can you have a conversation? Can you have a conversation? It's a possibility that you can. Hey, Luba, how are you? It's a possibility that some people are open for those conversations. It's a possibility. But it's not always open as much as we think it is. Because when we start talking about things that ruffle feathers, you know, a lot of times people can't deal with that. They don't want to know about your past life. They want to blame you for your present. They want to blame you for your present. I always tell my kids, I told both of my kids, I will always be there for you. I always tell my kids, I said, I'm not going to do everything for you, but I'll help you. And this is what I feel like a lot of us have gone through situations where we felt like we didn't have that person that we can turn to, you know. So I always, the things that I have been through in my childhood growing up and the things that I have expressed, I basically now can look at it like, wow, that wasn't right. I know I made mistakes. We all have. Hey, how are you? We all have made mistakes. But I can only speak on me because this is the person that I am. And I'm honest about mine. You know, I can talk about the things that I've done. I know what I've done. You know, and I'm not afraid to express what I've done. The only thing is, the other people that are involved are afraid of it. Other people that are involved are afraid of the things that they have done. No, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. The people that are involved in your life sometimes does not want you to express those feelings, you know, because it brings up things. It embarrasses them. You know, but understanding that nobody is perfect in this life. And I don't understand when we gonna figure that out, that nobody's perfect. There's no handbook on living this life. You understand? You can crash and burn at any time. You can crash and burn in this life at any time. Too much energy, exposing too much of your energy, that can burn you. That in itself can burn you as a person. So what you put your energy into, and I'm learning that, not to put my energy into a lot of things. I have this calm nature about me, but I also have another side, you know, which I could be, you know, I know how I can be very defensive. And it's nothing wrong with that, but I'm a loving hearted person. Like I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I'm not afraid to say that. But I'm not afraid to identify things that I can fix. And I don't like when people constantly say, you do this, you do that. Who likes that? I don't like when people say, you do this, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do. Who wants to hear that all the time? But you know you like this, but you know you this, but you know you that. I don't think any of us can handle that. I don't think anybody can handle. You like this, but you like that, but you like this. Who would want somebody telling them, you're like this, you know, you got to stop being this way, or you got to stop being that way. This is who you are. Maybe at some point you can recognize I'm too emotional or whatever and try to fix that. But you're always going to be working on yourself no matter what. Because nobody can paint the perfect picture of what life is. Nobody. None of us can paint the perfect picture of life. You know, you can see a waterfall and you can love to see that waterfall. When you get near it, it does something to your, you know, it does something to you at the time. It opens you up to a whole new world, a whole new look, a whole new feeling. When you get in an environment where you see a lot of greenery, it opens a whole new realm up for you. You be surprised who you become just because you've seen this and it brought joy out of you. So we're always changing. Let's stop blaming. You're this way, you're that way. Well, you know you like this, well, you know you like that. And then when you tell that person, oh, well, you're that way. Those are usually the people that don't want to hear how they are, but they quick to tell everybody else how you are. I can't stand a person that's always telling you how you are. Okay, just face it. Yes, I'm like that. God damn it. I'm like that. Don't you just want to yell out? I'm like that. That's who I am. God damn it. Now let it go. Now who are you? Come on. 3 things. 3 negative things about you. Come on, tell me. You think they could tell you? Somebody that's real about themselves could. Somebody that's true to themselves could tell you. 3 negative things about you. Let's go. Tell me 3 negative things about you guys. 3 negative things. Let's see how many people on here. I see 3. I don't know how many people are actually on here. But tell me 3 negative things about yourself. Go. I'm talking about you guys on here. I want you guys to be involved. Because people are so quick to tell you negative things about you. Well, you know you always doing this. You trust too easy? Okay. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. So is that one thing, or you going to give me 3? Because I could tell you guys. I could tell you. I just gave you. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I gave you good and bad, though. I gave you 3. I don't know how many things I gave you, but I gave you some things about me. You know, I get defensive. Yeah, especially when I feel attacked, I get defensive. I get very defensive when I get attacked. And I think most people probably do. Because you want to protect yourself. You want to protect you. You don't want people to see you in a certain negative light. You don't want people to see you that way. You want people to see you, you know, in a good way. I have a hard time admitting fault, like my pride can get in the way. I'm too emotional at times. Okay. And that's good. You know, at least you're able to see that, because I took a class before on characteristics. I can't remember exactly what the class was, but it was a class for human resources. And the lady said she had us do like a chart of the good things about us and bad things about us, right? So it wasn't any good, it wasn't any right or wrong answer. It was just more so based on you as a person and how you see yourself. Because a lot of times how we see ourselves, other people see us differently. You know, you think of yourself as a certain type of person, somebody else might see you as aggravating. And to me, that honestly comes from them not understanding you. Because a lot of times we don't put in the energy or we don't put in the I'll use the word energy. We don't put in the energy to get to know people. A lot of times we're either going off of what somebody has told us about somebody, or, you know, it's by first judging them, which I try not to now judge people. You know, I try, since I've been away from a 9 to 5, I'm telling you, I have seen so much. I have been able to see a lot. I've been able to see the behavior of people. I have been able to acknowledge, you know, certain things about me that I needed to work on. And I'm not saying that I'm all the way there. Like, it might take me my next couple of lifetimes to get there. Who knows? It may take me that. It may take me my few lifetimes to get there. But I always know that you're never going to be perfect. You're never, ever going to be perfect. No matter how much we work on ourselves. Like I said, that negative charge, that positive charge is always going to be there. That's how we're set up. That's how some people are there, you know, in their life, they have dealt with less things. So they're able to be calm. You ever heard somebody say, when you talk about a racist issue and you talk about something that's racist, and you ever heard somebody say, why you always got to say that? Why you always, they haven't encountered those things yet. They haven't encountered it. So they don't know they don't know how to handle, they don't know how to even discuss it. So they don't want to be in the midst of that conversation. So they try to get you off of it, because they don't understand it. It's not something that they've gone through. I find that when people haven't gone through something, they don't understand it. So they're mediocre at expressing it and helping you get through it if they haven't experienced it. The moment you experience these things, it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different emotion. You know how when somebody passed away, the moment they announce somebody passed away, but that's that person's family, we don't feel like they do. So we're able to say, I'm sorry for your loss. We're able to say that. I'm sorry for your loss. But I almost don't even know how to say anything to anybody, because I'm like, I might as well not say. The only thing I can say is, I'm sad that happened to you. I'm so sad. I had a young lady, I was driving one day. I could feel it. I picked her up late at night. Late. It was really, really late. I want to say it was maybe like 12 a.m. or something like that. So when she was getting in the vehicle, I'm good at feeling energy. She had a box with her. She had a big box with her. And I was picking her up by a veterinarian place. And as she was getting in the truck, hey, Romello, as she was getting in the truck, I could kind of feel her energy, like it wasn't right. And she wasn't crying at the time. So I don't know if she had just wiped her face or what. She gets in. No, she gets in. And I said, as soon as she got in, I said, you okay? I said, you okay? Everything okay? And it's something in my heart just told me to say that to her. I didn't know what was going on. She just bust out crying. She bust out crying out of nowhere. And she was like, I'm demonstrating, you guys. I'm not trying to, be funny about her situation, but she bust out crying, and she was like, no, I'm not. And I said, wow, like I didn't realize that I could feel her energy like I did. So when she said, I said, what's wrong? And she said, I lost my baby. Immediately, my face was just like, I don't even know how to say anything to her. I don't know what to say. The only thing I could say was, I'm so sorry for that. Like, I didn't know. I wanted to give her a hug. I didn't know. Like, I was just like, wow. And then the whole ride, she was just constantly crying. I wanted to cry, because I get emotional when I see movies, when people are crying on movies and things like that. But I just felt so bad. Like, I didn't know how to, interact with her. I just didn't know after that. I was like, wow, that has to be really rough. So we think when we hear people, say that they lost their father or somebody like that, it doesn't hit us like it hit them, because emotionally they're dealing with those issues just like any other thing that people are dealing with. It's hard for me to tell people to stop and not allow it to get to them, because you emotionally, you have to let it out. Emotionally. It's only natural for you to let that out of your system. I can give you a hug. I can try to help you through it, but unfortunately I can't. It's hard for me to tell people to stop. You got to stop letting that get to you. I can't stand when people do that anymore. I can't stand it. Oh, not a problem, Greg. Have a great day. Have a great day. I can't stand when we sit there and we try to make people not express themselves. You know, when something's bothering our kids, you know, we tend to tell, like when men would tell boys, suck it up. You acting like a punk or a sissy. I used to hear guys tell their sons this all the time. Like, you acting like a sissy. Well, hold on. This child need to express themselves. You know what I'm saying? You can try to help them through, you know, the crying or whatever, you know, but don't make them feel like they shouldn't express themselves. Because then when you start getting older and then you wonder why a child is the way that they are, they so hardcore, they don't have no feelings. Yeah, I'm okay. I was just talking about how we have our feelings, and a lot of times people don't like us to express them, you know, and it bothers me sometimes when, you know, a person feel like they're able to tell you how you should feel and how you should emote to things. And it's not like they tell you, well, you shouldn't tell other people, you shouldn't, you know, express certain feelings your way. So they tell you this, and I was just getting into how we emote differently. You know, we have our own feelings and emotions. Oh, because I was talking about the young lady with the baby, so that kind of made me teary-eyed. But the young lady, when she told me she lost her baby, I was like, wow, because this happened recently. And I pretty much, you know, I felt for her because I couldn't do anything, but yeah, but I felt for her. Anytime I see death or and this is just me. Anytime I see death, or I see a movie that's emotional, you know, I get teary-eyed. But I'm very like I'm more so like still though. Like the only time I really cry is when I see sad things. But when I hear sad things, you know, well, I guess I heard at that time, it kind of made me feel like really sad for her, you know, because I was like, Dad, you lost your baby, you know, that's hard to get through. And I just, at that time, it put an image in my head, you know, and I just kind of, you know, felt sad for her. But a lot of times when I see movies, I do get sad. I have tears dropping out of my eyes a lot of times when I see movies. But my daughter, she'll look at me like every movie we look at and she see that it's a sad ending. She'll look at me and be like, Mom, you're crying, you know, and I'm like, I can't help myself. But at the same time, you know, I'm not sad. It's just that my eyes water because I hate to see sad things. You know, I've always been like that. But I'm like a rock. But I'm also soft too. You know, people say I'm like a rock. I'm hard. You know, I've built myself to be this hard shell. Growing up, I've had to be a hard shell, but I was always very silly. Hey, butter. I had to be silly to kind of keep myself from being so hard, you know, to kind of make myself laugh. And if you can't laugh at yourself, I always say this, if you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't be laughing at nobody. You shouldn't laugh at nobody. That happens to me too. It's like an abundance of emotions when watching something. Yes, it's an overflow. I don't know. It does something to the brain. And then I just start getting teary-eyed. But, you know, I always tell my kids to express themselves. I never was the mom that called my kids a sissy. You know, I know guys, their mom called them sissies. Fathers used to call them punks, you know. And I'd be like, Dad, why you they talking to their kid like that? Especially when it comes to sports. Let sports be involved. Guys will call, a lot of guys, I've heard them, stop being a punk. Stop being, you know, and I never thought that was right. I never was the type of parent that liked to hear fathers or mothers talk to their kids that way. But I can't correct them. I mean, if I know them, I can probably say, Wow, you talk to your son or your daughter that way? But people do it all the time. And then they wonder why their kids are, a certain way as they get older, because it never leaves them. It's always subconscious. It's always in your subconscious mind. Think about kids getting hit all the time. I know we say even as kids, as adults now, because I'm 42, but as adults now, we say, our kids, what do we say? We say, our kids, we say, well, when we were younger, I never had any problems, when I was younger, as far as getting abused or whatever. Because, that was abuse back in the day, when your parents would hit you with all kinds of things and switches and all that stuff. When I was younger, that's what they used to go get, switches off the tree and hit you with it. Literally, that's abuse. That's abuse. You belts, every time you make a mistake, you getting hit with a belt, you getting slammed up against things, and and that's abuse. That was like slavery. That was like abuse. That was abuse. That was abuse from one generation to another. From one to another. And some parents didn't realize that. But as your kids got older, you never know what affected them. And sometimes we don't know what affected us. That treatment was like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay now. I'm like 50 years old, but then not realizing that deep down inside, you still dealing with that. Because a lot of times it doesn't go away. And then you end up treating your kids that way. It's a generational curse. You end up treating your kids. They treat their kids that way. Well, this is what we're creating. We're creating abusers. When your father used to hit your mother and things like that. Or you've seen things like that occur in situations where the man gets angry at the woman and he goes off and backhand her, because that's the stuff that he witnessed. That's the stuff that he saw. He thought that was okay. But we sweep stuff under the rug and not think that we can't change those things. I hit my kids, but very rarely. But I got my ass beat. Okay? I got the beat down. I got the WWF. Okay? C, whatever you want to call it. I got the Hulk Hogan treatment. But I refuse to be like that with my kids, because I knew I had to change something for me. You know what I'm saying? I got that Stone Cold Austin treatment. You know what I'm saying? But I had to change that for my kids, which lets me know mentally I was able to do that. And even cursing your kids out. I can't stand to hear people cursing their kids out. Calling them an MF and all that stuff. You ever hear parents call their kids motherfuckers? What the hell? Cussing them out. And some people think that shit is fun. And it's funny. It's not. That's damaging. That's verbal. Verbal. That lives with your child for a long time. Okay? Verbal treatment. How you talk down to them is how they don't believe in themselves, or how they believe in themselves. When you call them out their name, you tell them they not gonna be nothing. You know what I'm saying? That stays with them. And then you wonder why they not something, because you had put that in their head throughout the years. Well, Charlie ain't gonna be shit. Charlie, you ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. Ain't nobody gonna like you. Nobody. You keep trying to do this whatever you trying to do around here to own your own business. You ain't never gonna own your own business. You ain't never gonna be nothing. Quit trying. And then when they get around somebody that has implanted positivity in their head, and they uplifted them, and they told them that they could do it, And at that moment, when they even put it out there and they start to surface and it starts to work out, the universe starts to work positively for them, then what? Then that mother or that father's there. Right? Then they like, this my son, this my daughter. This my son. Not realizing you did a whole lot of damage to your child. Telling y'all, we got to change the way we are. I've done it for myself. I don't cuss my kids out. My kids probably rarely heard me curse. I probably said damn or shit maybe. And my son is 19 and my daughter's 12. My kids probably rarely heard. They probably heard me curse while I'm on the phone with somebody else. But cursing at them and talking to them any kind of way, I was not that parent. I was not that parent, and I'm glad that I wasn't. And my son has just went into the Navy. I told my son, I talk to my son, I tell my son, do what you love. I support them. As long as it's positive, I'm always going to be there for you. And I just think, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm just saying, let's be a gift to our kids. Let's uplift people around us. Let's not chastise people for who they are or who they've become, because we don't know what they've dealt with in life, and we don't know why they are the way that they are. But when they tell their story, then we start to understand exactly where they come from. But not knowing that story, some of us will never know where people come from. You mean to tell me I have to tell you my story for you to understand me as a person? Because after you tell your story, people start glorifying you. So it takes you to open up to tell people who you really are and where you've come from for them to understand you as a person. But we put people down on a day-to-day basis. And I have awakened myself years ago. I'm talking about way before I left my job. When I had kids, I told myself, I said, hey, I don't want to be like somebody. I want to be me. I want to come into myself and be who I've come here to be. We have to learn who we are. And the only way we do that is by understanding. And what's his name? Tupac said it. We have to understand each other. We don't understand each other. That's why we have so much funk going on in the universe. We don't even try to understand each other. We talk about everybody. We put everybody down. The business, the only business that sells is negativity. When that China and Rob shit was all over on social media, everybody was sharing it. People was trying to make memes and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, come on. Is this what it takes to reach? Is this what it takes to reach people? Negativity, negative stuff sells each and every time. So anytime a person tell their story, it's negative. So that's why it sells, because it's negative. Negative shit. Oh, his father did that. People want to hear the negative stuff. I love people's stories because I love to hear them blossom from, who they were to who they are now. I love, and I may have seen that in them already. I understand things that a lot of people go through. I may not know the actual story, but I can sense it. You can tell the humor. There's a side of somebody as to why they're doing what they're doing, because they're reaching somebody because they have been in that place before. They have been in a dark place before where they're trying to make something out of themselves and they're trying to spread a positive message. So I like the fact that I see a lot of people out here spreading love, coming from where they were to being to where they are and who they are now, because you've come into yourself. Like I said, let's uplift people and not put each other down. Let's not live off of people's downfalls. I don't want to live off of somebody's downfalls. I want to live off of uplifting, encouraging, seeing truly who they are, who they've become, cheering them on as they get there. I love that. I love the fact that I can do that. If I'm not expressing, look, when I was going through my relationship issues, let me tell you, everybody was on here. Everybody. The fact now that I'm not going through anything and I'm speaking intellectually and I'm speaking my mind and I'm focused, people don't want to hear a lot of that. They want to know why so-and-so and you going through the back and forth. They want to get on here to see why you and him going through problems. They want to know your dirty laundry. But the moment you stop talking about it, all that dissipates. And I'm glad that it's gone. That's why I haven't been on here, because I had to take time to lose those people. Lose the people that didn't really want to come on here for me, but to lose the people that only wanted to come on here to be nosy. And I mean, some still pop in and out. Some still pop in. They may come in and be like, hey, to see what I'm talking about. And then the moment it's nothing that, their light bulb doesn't go off on, they off. So that's how it is. So just know when dirty laundry is out there, people are willing to buy it. They love it. They love when you sell your dirty stories, your dirty drawers. They love that. They love to sniff the dirty shit. But when you start speaking positive and enlightened, and you've been enlightened, they don't want to hear that. They don't want they don't want to buy into your business. They don't want to buy into nothing. They just want to be here just to hear what's going on. The negative shit. Okay? So be careful what you guys put on, social media. It's okay to vent. It's okay to talk about things. It's okay to have your feelings and, wear your feelings, your emotions on your sleeve and everything. But just know that a lot of people come around just for the chaos, the chaotic times. That's all they want. That's all they buying from you. Your negative stuff. So on that note, y'all, I'm about to go in the store. This is Keita J. Check out my website. Website is in the profile. Follow me on connect with me. I've used that word now. Connect with me on Exist in Nature on Instagram. I'm also on Snapchat, but I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Google Plus. So if you guys are on Google Plus, you can find Exist the letter in Nature also there. If you want to purchase some art and things like that, custom designs, you can check out the website. You can email me. Everything is in the profile. I appreciate you guys. I'm doing funny things. I'm creating a greater space for myself, and I'm growing as a person. I appreciate you guys for tuning in.